Hey everybody, David here. Yeah, I'm trying out my other camera for fun. Yeah, it looks like I'm a ghost and, stuff. Um, I think if I get a green screen set up behind me, it'll stabilize the image, but we're going to go with it today. So, God, there's so much I want to talk about today, and I have so little time. There's some new links in the description. We're talking a little bit about the mind game today. And Diana's home early today, so if she walks near me, it'll be like this little cute ghost coming in and out, but you won't. It's really kind of an interesting effect. So we tested it a little bit. Oh wow. Okay, so the bot thing, it has scalped $11.17 in 2 days and 16 hours. And okay, I have a confession to make. I changed my exit because I got a little greedy last night. I thought, you know what? We've got all this kind of FOMO coming on. I'm hearing is it a bull run? All this new stuff happening. So I raised it up and I had forgotten to check the KuCoin charts because I can't get KuCoin charts on TradingView. And there's an offset. Sometimes the offset is like it goes further on KuCoin, and sometimes it doesn't go as far. In this case, I changed the exit based on what I was seeing on TradingView. I made this change in the middle of the night after a long day. Um, and anyway, it didn't quite go that high, but it would have definitely taken me out, and I probably would have been out today, and we'd be talking today about resetting the next bot. But that didn't happen, So anyway, I'm in $8 profit now, 2%. So I only need another, it's a little bit for me to hit my goal. I may not hit my goal on this one, but it's okay. It's the weekend. I mean, there's a lot of volatility happening. I mean, suddenly we're going from a couple dollars to it's scalping really, really nice. So I'm really happy to see that. All right. I've talked a lot over the last week about so much stuff, and I'm trying to figure out what's a good format moving forward. And maybe this weekend. My days off are Sundays and Mondays, and I think I'm going to go through some of the content over the last week, maybe with the help of some AI tools. And because like YouTube carves things up into sections and indexes things. And so I can go in and grab things and then maybe make some trainings to make available inside a Patreon type of thing. Anyway, a lot going on my mind around what to do with this and where to go next with it. But okay, let's take a look at what we want to do. Oh, so there's a lot happening in the news today. So I thought we would take a peek inside of some things. In fact, let me look at, let's see what's going in the mail today. I'll show you some stuff. Do you smell the pivot? Is from a subscription, a very expensive subscription. The Flight of Icarus. Okay. So anyway, I'll have to read that later. A lot of times you can get a feel for the market based on certain news stories. What I look to. Well, Weiss ratings is will have the subscriptions for all of their crypto stuff, and I'm not going to go into why them. Um, if you, I'm going to be sharing some of that stuff because that's one of the resources I use before I make my decisions, and then when I make a decision on what I'm doing, well, let me show you. Let's see. Oh, here's another thing. Today's your lucky oh, yeah, happy St. Patrick's Day, I guess. Set up a new account and save. Oh, wow. If anyone's interested in setting up a Roth-owned, LLC for a self-directed IRA, I'm thinking that's a Roth. They're having $2 off, so it's only $799 to set up. Well, that's kinda cool. Alright. Let me know if you wanna do that because I think, we get a $100 referral fee if, we refer folks there. We have to track it because they don't have a really good tracking mechanism. Not that's a big deal, but, hey, I spent 8 months researching them. I think, if I've saved you that 8 months of research and the headaches and all the other sort of thing, that's gotta be worth something. Alright, so this is inside a forum that you cannot find, you cannot it's one of several forums that are invisible. And, so you keep hearing me talking about your rights, right? Well, there's a thing called ResistBot, and you can text it from your phone and sign up for it, and you can write a letter to your governor, your state legislators, your senators, and your congresspeople, and the president of the United States. And I think you can even write to the DNC folks. I don't know why you can't write the GOP folks, but the whole point is that you can send a message, and it formats it, sends it in a letter and stuff like that. It's free. It's a free service. And, anyway, let's take a look. I just posted this, from Weiss. I'm not gonna read it to you, but here's a prediction. Now this is kind of, if you don't wanna become an expert in this stuff, and I certainly don't, what you do is you outsource this stuff. Now I know there's a lot of free content on YouTube and everyone's got an opinion. This is a paid opinion by experts that this is what they do. They have staff that monitor. I think we have like 4 or 5 newsletters now. They're about 3 grand a piece a year, but you can get a deal on about half that. Or, anyway, we spent like, I don't know, 14, $15,000 on having everything they have to do with crypto. We have access to that, and I review that, and that's part of what I bring here is I review that information, I sort through it, and the people that I work with, they trust me to say, "Well, what's important?" And I share that sometimes. But this isn't a private forum, and I have permission to share stuff privately. So anyway, DDC is actually an organization that's kinda not an organization, but there's some few folks. You can see how many people, my friends and family, there's 7 members in this group. Let's see. Let's see. Prediction: the Fed's going to be forced to slash interest rates. They may be forced to buy bonds at 100 cents on the dollar from the alien financial institutions. So I saw that in the news. A lot of things today is there's all this headlines about runs on banks here and in Europe. Okay, so go read the Mississippi Scheme, okay? And you can probably see it. You can find it on a PDF. It's out of an old stock market recommended book about the illusions of markets and mass. I can't remember the title of it. We could look it up here. But anyway, it's a short chapter in that book. And it's about fiat currency, which was created by French, where they printed up money, and the crown printed up more money to pay its bills. It ends badly. It always ends badly. And our fiat experiment began in the 70s, right? And with globalization, all sorts of stuff, we had this cool little trick that we do as a country. We owe you something? Here, let me print out some money. Here, let me pay you, right? And we've been getting away with that. And other countries that don't like us so much, like China and Russia, global economics is extremely complicated, and everyone's got an opinion. The point is it works, but right now we've printed up a ton of money because of COVID, and prior to COVID, we printed up a ton of money for war, and anyway, it's coming due, and, eventually, the wealthy people is where the government has to go to get the money because they just can't tax the little people anymore. And I remember Robert Kiyosaki, he just went on a little tirade. I love his book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I think he got a little crazy over the last 4 or 5 years. I don't know why, but he was talking about Bitcoin, so that caught my attention. And he's saying, "Man, buy gold, silver, Bitcoin, and guns." Well, if you're looking for the zombie apocalypse and you plan on going hunting to survive, we've pretty much destroyed the food supply that way. And you're not, if you're out in the wilderness, you might be able to get away with that. But if you're in a city or something, it's just this is the squirrel. Go watch this little series. It's called Jericho. If you want to see how that plays out, great fiction about dystopian thing, modern era stuff. All right, let's see here. Let's see. Complain. Financial status. Anyway, I post stuff like this. Hold on a second here. It's my morning, so I'm still just waking up. Here's another thing. Let's see. Let me break this out. I did a private training, how to approach bots specific to KuCoin. It's a training on how to do the bot things that I'm talking about. And that is actually on my as well as security. It's literally in my queue to edit and turn into training or get out of all the extra stuff because I know that I get on tangents all the time. And so, but I created a lot of content for probably the good foundational training this week. It might take me weeks to go through it to edit it down, but we'll see if Google's parsing works. If that works really well, I'll know where to cut and what. Anyway, it could be really really cool. So I'm excited to see if AI can help me get content out faster. But anyway, I inside of here, I have a forum for the new health and wealth Patreon thing. It is visible. There's just nobody in it. There's nobody in it. I'm trying to decide whether I'm just gonna make it open to the public, kinda like these broadcasts are, or if I'm just gonna just have Patreon content inside of Patreon because they have their own little private messaging thing. Although Facebook groups is just it's more interesting in terms of things we can do in there. Problem is a lot of folks hate Facebook for a lot of different reasons, and I don't necessarily blame them for that. It's just a really cool platform for groups, and I know everyone wants to have a Discord server, and I've actually set one up and played with it, and it's cool. And but maybe when we've grown a little bit and I can hire someone to manage that, we can do that. So, let's see here. Also, I did the check-ins, did the reviews, quick market check. What's going on? Let's take a look here. I need a third monitor. I need a third 32-inch monitor because I just have too many windows and I get lost. So, far as wearing green and stuff, I'm gonna figure something out before I get too far into my day. But I had you notice a little green on the screen in the beginning and stuff. And what I like today, right? St. Patrick's Day, the markets are pretty green today. And let's see, let's take a look at Ethereum and Bitcoin. They're the leaders, right? They set the tone. Everyone's talking about is it breaking out? Well, you know what? Last night I watched it cross 2,600, and I actually did a little training last night, even though I was half asleep. It was probably reserved content conversation, some tips and tricks type of stuff. So if someone were to actually go through, take notes, and they could probably learn how to do high leverage trading based on what I shared last night. But yeah, it's on its way to 2,800 is what they're predicting. But look at how close it is to 2,800. This is the weekly. It's breaking out on the daily. This is pretty exciting stuff. So the truth is it's going for 30,000, but all the analysts are saying 28. But the psychological thing is 30,000. But 28,000 is the analytics person's next step. Are they saying, "Oh, strong buy"? I'll tell you, when the stuff's peaking out like this is like proceed with caution. Because see, it's at the top of the Bollinger Bands across the board. Eventually, it's not gonna keep going, and people are gonna start taking profits. So this, to me, when it says strong buy, this is when you should be selling. I'm looking to be selling and getting out of my bot right now and then reassessing. So look at this nice little dip this last week. So things, this is XRP. This is the bot that I'm working with, and I'm sharing with folks. But anyway, the market's looking good. In fact, it's looking so good. I mean, I'm literally going to probably take like $1,000 aside, move it into my futures account, and start doing some at least maybe once a day. Maybe even just get up in the middle of my sleep cycle and just do one trade a day for shits and giggles. And with a goal of, I mean, usually when I do high leverage trading, I go for 30% ROI on the trade. All right, let me see here. This is driving me crazy trying to manage this. So let me just see if I can close this down to give us a little bit of room to show you some stuff. It's amazing how much work goes into prepping things so I don't have to search for things while we're having a conversation. So I decided I don't know. I use Google for music. I've got a whatever she's called, the Amazon thing. She's kind of like I don't want to say something that's inappropriate. Just that she's an AI that not Google, but the I can't remember her name. Anyway, she randomly says things. I don't use her for anything other than asking for Alexa, that's her name. I have too many AIs in my life. But anyway, so she's there. She's really good for TV and entertainment. Um, but she spits. She just. But she can do gold. If I ask for the price of gold, she can do it. Google has yet to be able to give me the spot gold price. But while I'm in the middle of my sleep cycle, I can roll over and ask Google what Ethereum is at or what Bitcoin is at, and that can tell me what's going on. All right. So anyway, I have a playlist. So we're going to talk a little bit about mind game here, right? So this is my morning playlist. There's a link to it. It's public, and this is when I say whatever good morning to. I'm not going to do it otherwise it would activate right to Google. It goes through. It turns on my lights at a certain level and things. It sets all the speakers. It gives me a news report on the status of cryptocurrency, and then it plays this morning playlist all automatically. All I have to do is tell it good morning. And these are all I'm working on this because it's all kind of like upbeat stuff. And I have different playlists, but I control my audio input and my background music. Why? Because it impacts my brain. It impacts your brain. All right. Also, just so you know, I did find this chat separate app type of thing. So I don't know if this works through all the streams or not. If someone wants to send me a message to see if how it shows up, it's cumbersome to do it in the studio. I mean, I have an option. I can there's this overlay thing, but it just eats up like, a third of the space, and that's just not gonna work for me. So I found this app. I redid the security so that I could have these running. It was a project. It was a pain in the rear, but it's done. So anyway, you can go check my morning playlist and stuff. Also, all those charts that I showed you, right? These charts. So I think in the document that I released or will be releasing, I share these. So what you can do is you can go copy them and then make them your own. But I share these charts. All the indicators are all set up for you. Yeah. I do have a training where I go through each indicator, explain why I use it and how I use it. And it's long and it's boring. And I don't think anyone's really interested. They're just like, give me the chart setup, David. I'll go watch what's his name? Yeah, it's the impairment thing. Trading Rush. He's a Forex guy, but he tests this stuff in real live markets. He's got different theories and stuff, although he doesn't necessarily matrix things. Anyway, but if you want to learn about each of the indicators that are available, and there's hundreds or thousands of them, Trading Rush I can recommend. No, I don't have an affiliate link with him or anything. I pay him as a patron. I for years, and I haven't been over there for years, but I like what he's doing training people. I pay him $5 a month to support what he's doing. All right, because it takes a lot of work to do this stuff. All right, so anyway, YouTube Music. You don't have to do me to me. You can go in here if you're in whatever. You can see what my list is. Listen to these songs. I can't play them because of licensing. I can play snippets of them, but anyway, they're really really cool. Great little song. Which one of these is "You and I" is really cool because it's all about getting rich and stuff, and it's I don't know, it's a cool little thing. All right, so I mentioned about relationships and a thing because that's part of what this is, right? What good is wealth without a positive relationship? What good is wealth without your health? And I went around my house the other day and took pictures, and I haven't a chance to edit them. But wherever I look in my house, there's edifying either pictures. There's Diana and I. Look, imagine me with a Santa hat, right? The Dolce Vita is Italian for the good life. These are our These are our VR units, which we use for, we go fishing with relatives around the country. We work out in them. My son and I get together virtually and go zombie hunting or on military expeditions, simulations. Ohana means family. Anyway, so wherever I look in my house, this one's kind of cute. I got this for like Father's Day or something. Your butt napkins, my lord. It's in our downstairs bathroom. It just makes me giggle every time I see it. Over here, this is, if you don't recognize this, oh, there it is. That's the traditional goddess Diana, and who's my partner? Her name is Diana. So anyway, it reminds me of her. Anyway, so these little affirmations, no drama llama. Kamawazi means divine work in Japanese. A shout out to James Altucher, who shared that one. Um, I'm listening. If you want to know what I'm listening to in my audiobooks right now, in terms of feeding my mind stuff, um, I'm listening to The Art of Living. Oh, I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's a Korean guy. I apologize. I think he's passed. He would laugh because I'm going to just destroy his name. Uh, can you see him? Oh, wait a second. Can you see it? There. Read his name. Um, Thichhathanh. He's a philosopher person, a Buddhist guy. And I was listening to this, and it's just really cool because he talks about things from a Buddhist perspective, a Christian perspective, and in an all-inclusive perspective. It was really wild, is I'm hearing him saying things that I thought was a revolutionary discovery like 20 years ago in my time and quietness, in my own sacred time. And hearing another person say it, and I found similar concepts going back thousands of years. It's one of those little things that when I say I'm not an atheist, there are these little clues that we humans know something or connected to something. Just like Beethoven downloaded whole orchestrations and stuff. Now there's some controversy there, but anyway, not going to get in all the controversy. Anyway, nothing but positive relationships, affirmative things around my house. Okay. And at my work too. Just, take control of your advertising, right? Rather than being subjugated to the advertising that someone else has designed to influence you, right? That's what all advertising does. Songs, music, ads, it's all designed to influence you. I'm giving you permission to take control of it. If you have a favorite song, and I've got some, I love the music. I hate the lyrics because the lyrics do not support my worldview. Oftentimes, the lyrics are just a reminder of pain and suffering because people can relate to it. That's why they wrote the song. A lot of songs are written from people's pain and suffering. And if it's not affirming where I want to go, and it's not supporting that, I probably only listen to if I'm in a certain mood. I limit my consumption of it, right? Because it's toxic. We're not born and raised to think about that. We're born and raised to be subjugated to it. It's why you can remember jingles from a kid because they market to kids. And that impacts us why we, want the golden arches in the middle of the night or something like that. All right. So take control, mind game of your mind game. This is a long-term game thing. If you don't do it, listen, let me play this for you. Almost most people that tune in here, this is where we're all at right now. Looking for a way out. I mean, I can show you buy low, sell high in a 3 minute until you go do there and do it with point oh 0.01 ETH in training. And now I've just taught you where to get started. And what's going to happen is you're going to have success with it and you're going to grow your account and you're automatically going to deal with your mind game. Where this other stuff comes in is when you start having to make $1,000 and $10,000 decisions at 100x. And unless you get used to it through repetition, like a golf swing, how do you get good at golf? You go and train. You take the same swing over and over and over again. I think there are different types of trades based on what the market's doing. But if you just get good at the bull run trade, probably the safest time to do it, you can accomplish anything you want financially if you have a plan. Now, I spent 2 years developing these spreadsheets. And this bot one, you know, right here, right? This one I worked on this year for myself. And I finally got it to a point where I'm willing to share it because it's of value. It's been released. Here is the bot that we've been talking about earlier. I'm not out of it yet, but my daily average, because I haven't exited and posted another cycle, right? We're 3 days into it, is, I'm still at my goal of 2% a day. And, these are cycles, right? And what does this mean? Let's just do a quick recap. Um, so this particular test with bot tests, right, which is it's a hybrid thing between active trading and whatever. I did a deep dive in this over the weekend. But I started with $250 on February 14th, and this account right now is, well, I started this last bot with $393.67. So, and I mean, I would have been out this morning if I wouldn't have gotten greedy, which is okay. So, I mean, it's up $11.17. Good profits. Um, Total net $8.25, 2% across 3 days. So I'm most likely, because it'll most likely repeat tomorrow morning, Saturday, because usually what happens, you go into the weekends, Friday and Saturday, there's like a little rally each day. There's usually a dip on Sunday because the markets of the other side of the world open up. And anyway, that's what happens. So these are the trades. I'm $106.33 away from that goal. I know not much has changed in the last 3 days, but looks like 31 to 36 days will create the cycle, what I call mission one. I know this is a review if you've been tuning in, but it's okay. Someone kind of came in and left already. It's all right. They're just going to miss the good stuff. Or they'll come back and watch it from the beginning, because I think I said it. Maybe they're watching from the beginning right now, which is a good thing to do if you come in late. So missions is doubling, 250 to 500 is mission one, 500 to 1,000 is mission two. And so based on what I've done so far, and your numbers will be different, I can guesstimate. And as I get more information, this becomes more accurate over time. And the assumption here is you won't get better over time. And the reality is you do get better over time. And if you doubt that, if I go back to cycles, 800% RO APR, 200, 400, 700. My last one was over 1,000 APR if I continued on that pattern. So the only reason why I have this in here is to ask myself, am I getting better? This next one's going to be horrible because I deliberately made a mistake that most people would make, because I wanted to show, and I'll talk about why bots are cool. All right, this is not where I want to go. So the missions, I talk about going from $0 to $1 million. That's what the missions are. And starting with $5, if you want to know where you cross that mark, it's 18 missions. You just pull out a calculator, $5 times 2. Starting from 0 means you get loaner funds for like 6 days or 10 days. But you have to know what to do with them. I tell everyone train at 0.01 ETH, which right now would be, I close those down, probably about 17, 18 cents plus trading fees, 20 cents a trade. All right. So yeah, so these are the missions. So if I can continue to get 2% a day and get to it's probably going to be about a 36-day cycle. It'll probably get down to 30-day cycle. February, so about a little bit less than a year. No, wait a second. No, April. That's mission 10. I'm across the $1 million mark on this particular bot. If I keep this cadence, this is a very slow cadence, 5 to 6x leverage. If we have a bull run, I'll probably increase the leverage, maybe as high as 10, and I'll just get it in and out, because you can do stuff like that. And a bot is really kind of cool because it takes advantage of the crazy fluctuations when the market's hot. I'll cross that bridge when I come to it, and I'll talk about it here. So what is this? So yeah, April 21st. So a little over a year from now, based on real data, my data, not your data. Your data will probably be different than this. Maybe you'll do better than I do. Maybe you'll not do as well. But whatever it is the reality from where you are at and at your skill level. And bots is really, I wish I would have started this and focused on that first. I was really excited about teaching people how to trade, and it's complicated. The mind game kicks in really hard, really fast. And so bots is a great place to start. You just can't start with zero with bots. I think you have to have at least like $50 to get started, which will be, slower, but you can put the numbers in the spreadsheet and explore. You have to see the light at the end of the tunnel. That's the whole point. You have to see the light at the tunnel for you. I'm just showing you a little bit of what's possible, what I'm doing, what I did. And I was getting some crazy results right out of the blocks. And I spent $1,500 on my initial training. And that resulted in a $1,200 liquidation. I learned more from the liquidation than I did from the training. But it got me started, right? And why did I spend $1,500? Because I wasn't confident. I didn't know that I could start with zero point zero 0.01 ETH, right? Because that training was based on traditional market theory and someone presenting something really, really simple. And they created processes which are valid and still good stuff, right? Um, but I came up with a better system. And like 60 days later, it was crazy what had transpired. And I want that for everybody. So, yeah. So that's that spreadsheet. This is available now in the Patreon thing. This one I'm gonna be looking at this weekend. My days off are Sundays and Mondays, so that's when I get most of my work done. I'm migrating stuff from training into the Patreon, kind of getting just the good stuff, and I'll just be creating the system there. I may be putting the training piece into Samcart, and then the Patreon folks will just basically get a code to have access to the training. I've got data everywhere in the cloud on 3 or 4 different platforms, and it's literally driving me crazy. It's like, "Oh, yeah, I remember creating that, like, 8 months ago. That's a really good thing," and maybe there's, like, only one thing in that thing that's really good or relevant. I've learned something better. So I'm having to, like, audit all that before I release it to everybody. But this one is about analyzing where you're at now with your wages if you work for a living like I do. If you have a business, that's a different thing. But if you have a business, you probably go with spreadsheets, so create your own. But this figures out, bakes, if you're making, let's say you make 30,000 or 32,000, isn't that what minimum wage works out to be, or is it 24,000? Just go 24,000. I don't know. I don't remember. The minimum wage, $7.20 an hour. Pretty close. No, wait a second. That's not what it does. Oh, it's $11.54. See, I'm thinking about redoing this. This is a little confusing. I haven't used this in like a year. But you can everywhere there's yellow here, you can put in your own numbers and you can explore your numbers. But the thing is you put in your birthday, right? And how much money do you need to win in a lump sum to create an annuity to live type of thing. Anyway, and then there's a debt killer thing. And anyway, I need to do a training with it because it's a little bit too complicated. I know how to use it, and it took me a little while. Oh, why did I do it that way? I need to kind of maybe simplify this, and this will be released soon. Hopefully, I'll have this released like next Tuesday or something. Knowing your numbers, where you're at now, it doesn't matter where you're at now. If you're homeless and this is zero, that's fine, right? Put in your age. How much would you like to make? What do you need to do to stabilize things now, right? You need to know those numbers. Most people avoid looking at those numbers. How do I know this? Because I avoid looking at those numbers when I'm feeling stressed and stuff too. Almost everything I do, I've went through first. Anyway, just some really, really cool stuff like, what's your monthly cash flow target? This is kind of cool. So if you're just starting out in life and you just graduate from high school and you're looking at stuff, how much does it cost to live? Well, you need to go in your area, figure it out. And I have a spreadsheet for that. Gather the information. You say, well, I need to make $3,000 a month. And this would be like a bot. You need like at a quarter interest a day. I've been doing 2%, right? Um, this is Lumpong APR based, but this is daily based on a bot. So let's put in 2%, what I've been averaging. Bring in a monthly cash flow of 3,000. If I can average 2% return a day, I need $4,932 mastered where it's reliable, right? I don't have that reliability piece of it dialed in yet. but that is equivalent cash flow wise of having $3,600,000 in the bank with 1% APR, like a CD. 3% APR, $1,200,000. So which do you think has a higher probability for the average homeless person or the average working person who's struggling to pay rent to get to add $3,000 a month to their budget? 5 grand or $1.2 million? One's a process. This thing over here on this side, everything financial, the stock market, your banking, all your professional financial planners is designed to get you to work 40 or 50 years of your life to save up this amount of money inside of something they're going to tax you and so when you're retired age 70 now is what they want, right? You can have your $3,000 a month, which is probably only going to be worth like $500 a month by the time you get there. MJ DeMarco actually does a deep dive into that data. It's a scheme, it's a scam, and then they go after your assets, whatever you've accumulated, which is usually your house, which isn't an asset. You probably pay 3 times its value by the time you go to sell it, but it's a form of saving, right? Nothing wrong with that. And I'm not going to get in a real estate argument with folks because there are ways of using real estate and leverage, and I totally get it. I understand. Would I buy real estate? No, right now, no. I think it's gonna implode along with banking. I think Robert Kiyosaki is kind of nailing it right now. People who've saved money and things are going to get hurt. People are migrating money to gold, silver, and Bitcoin is what he was like on a rant yesterday about. I don't normally, I like his book. I think his wife is producing more positive content. Um, but his first book, Rich Dad Poor Dad's a good read. It's not going to give you anything that's actionable, but it's going to give you a basic strategy. Anyway, so that's just a review of the spreadsheets and the lotto calculator. Yeah, I love this one. Why do I love this one? Because I'm in part of a lottery at my work. So I can put in here there's 4 of us. I love the $2.2 billion in here because I want everyone to see what cash flowing on a net $1 billion looks like. So when you hear about CEOs, excuse me, and CEO pay and the billionaires, right? You can take a look at how much money they have and what their dividends or whatever is, and you can figure it. And you can start at what you need to ask yourself is, why am I expected to? Why am I the only one being taxed? Why aren't they being taxed? I know why they're not being taxed on their income because they don't have an income. They have capital gains. And the wealthy people got into the government that your capital gains taxes, we used to have a short-term and long-term capital gains, which gave an incentive for holding things for over a year. They changed it to just to your income. Makes totally sense to us peasants, which supported it, except we're the only ones working. They're the ones that live off from capital gains. Their income tax bracket went to 0. The only other people who have 0 income tax bracket are homeless people that aren't on unemployment insurance, and they only have less than $600 a year. They're in a 0 income tax bracket. Good move, guys, but you didn't do anything for our country. You didn't do anything for our world. You're not making our communities any better. I'm talking to the billionaires. And you're not creating jobs. I've just been noticing you guys have been doing nothing but taking over companies and destroying jobs. And when you destroy a job, you destroy the local and federal tax base. And it's our money. It's our government. And yeah, there's a lot of waste and corruption and crap going on there. So anyway, I wanted to cover that a little bit today. I'm thinking about several different formats. Moving forward, I might choose one of these mini topics. Like this is the setup. I have to review this and set it up before it launches, and I'm getting better at it. You can hear, you can just click on here. It'll prompt you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you watch on the YouTube channel, you help me build it up so it becomes a monetized channel. If you go watch it and replay things to learn stuff, do it on YouTube because it helps me get when it's monetized. You just tuning in and watching actually creates revenue, and the revenue supports this mission. I know it's like, well, aren't you the mission, David? Yeah, I am. That's why I'm charging $5 a month for probably training that the stuff I've already released is probably worth $500 if I were to pitch it to you individually and package it up into a $3,000 program, and then answer your questions once a day or something through a Google form. Yeah. You get all that for $5 a month, $60 a year. I'm giving you the best I know how to do. Why? Because I have a bigger vision than creating money right now. I don't need your money for trading. What I do need is I need to learn the skills of developing an organization so these concepts can live on beyond me. That's my mission here. But anyway, there's links in here, and this is in the description. Sometimes other platforms cut it off because there's almost 5,000 characters here. And when I'm done, I have to create a thumbnail and I have to move these tags appropriately and stuff behind the scenes once I close this out. And if I want to pull out cool stuff for training, I have to find it, cut it, and edit it. And I'm just a one person show, right? And it costs anywhere between $70 and $300 per edited video if I were to outsource it. So I'm not going to pull that money out of my budget. I need to create an organization of people to say, hey, listen, we want to support this. Yeah, David, we want you to have a team behind you. Yeah, we want you to get more concise and create content. And I figured if I'm going to do this stuff for you folks, you guys can participate a little bit. I've been giving it away for free for 2 years. And there's only 2 people that got anything out of that. Right. And they both spent over $5,000 to help get some of the subscriptions for the organization, right? They made an investment in the vision and the mission to get access to the best analytics in the world. And we have that privately, right? And so the other folks that have, oh yeah, Dave, it's free. I want to loan, blah, 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 right? They come in, I don't even think they can get through the to-do list because it's free. It has no value. It's a mind game thing. They got access. I got someone that, like me, has probably spent over $20,000 in training. And she tells me, shout Cindy, that my content is the best she's ever seen. Most interesting, best, useful, actionable trading information. And I agree because we took a look at what was there and created something better that works better, safer. And every time the market changes and we have to readapt and learn, I go to work where my talent is, which is strategy. So anyway, that's just a little review there. I think that's pretty much where we're at for today. I'm going to have to just cut this off early today and not go through my usual ending and usually with an extra 10 minutes at the end. Let's see. I don't see anything coming off the chat, so I'm going to shut that down. This weekend, I don't know if maybe I'll do a broadcast tonight after work, see where things are. If the bot cycles through, I usually do something on Sundays and Mondays, but I'm going to focus on working and creating new content to drop into Patreon starting next week. I know this might get a little repetitive, but this is kind of how we learn, right? Is through repetition. And, I was going to show something. Health segment. So you've heard about the Optavia 5-in-1. Someone saw a bone broth diet. So I did a comparison with ChatGPT, the AI thing, and just kind of ripped it apart. It's cute. There's a video in the on YouTube. There's channels, right? And I'm organizing the videos based on certain topics. But this is my decision making for a day, right here. I don't know if you can see it. I have 3 shakes, some chips, and a bar. And then since it's a work day, I have one of 4 different things. You can't see it. Meal options. Maybe I just like Kitchen Cacciatore is one of my favorites. So yeah. I'll figure out the thing where I'm not like this ghost coming in and out. But it's 90 seconds in the microwave. It's perfect I don't have to think about food during the day. And it's all got the prebiotics, probiotics, proteins, macro, micronutrients, carbs, everything. And it kills cravings. It's amazing. If I cook for myself, I'm still hungry afterwards. Even if it's good, clean food, I'm still hungry afterwards. Why? Nutrition's not there. So I usually make myself a shake. I had a mocha with added espresso this morning. For breakfast, I'll have a caramel macchiato when I get to work. Mid shift, I'll probably have a strawberry shake. I'll have some honey mustard onion sticks. And then what did I grab today? Some drizzled berry crisp bar. Tastes like a candy bar. I don't have to think about food. I just eat every 2 to 3 hours. And I know the nutrition's there. And what's weird is because of nutrition, because I've broken my addictions, I don't have cravings. Yeah, I got a coworker who's not dieting. They just use this to fill it, just to eat, because they don't have time and they don't have the money. I'm playing on a new camera, so I was like, I'm looking down, and really I should be looking up. So sorry about that. The link to that, it's the Goddess Octavia project. Diana takes care of that stuff. If you go over, sometimes I play her transformative video. I'm not going to do that today. It's pinned on her Facebook page. Just look for Octavia Goddess. I think there's a link to it in the thing. Just do that. All right, we'll wrap up with affirmations. Why crypto? Because it's the only thing where you can start with $0 or $5 and do this. This is your way out. And even if you have money and you go to traditional markets and stuff, you got to have, like, if you the options, they're taking. Well, you could start with $100, but we really recommend 3,000. Yeah. The reason why you can start with 100 is there's only one place where you can do the micro minis. You can start with $100 minimum deposit. Usually everywhere else is like $500 or $1,000 or $2,000. Here's our affirmations. So the theory behind this, why we're doing this, is if I can help you become a financial powerhouse, you'll make the world a better place around you by default. And I know for a fact, and I've tested this, if you have a life view of the world's coming to an end and you're living in fear, you will not be able to become a successful trader. You probably will be able to do bots, but the lens from which you look through life, and it's not necessarily a negative lens, right? Well, no, it is a negative lens, but it's not the only thing that's happening. And everything around here to sell you stuff is based on fear. And right now, things I think are going to get some deep shit financially for any country that has fiat currency. That's the whole world, by the way, except for Russia. They switched back to a gold standard, but who trusts that crap with them? Smart move, Russia, by the way, regarding your financial status. But what a mess you've made for yourselves. We're all going to go through something financially. Robert Kiyosaki says actual inflation that people are dealing with is 17%, not 7%. They're lying to you. And you know what? I think it's higher than that. My rent in the last 13 months has gone up just under 25%. And that's only because there's rent controls in the state of Oregon. Unless you're in a newer complex. People up in Portland have had 100% rent increases, which is why you have homeless people living in their cars with full-time jobs and careers. Yeah. So, I can't change any of that, but I can teach people how to start. And then if they're willing to learn and do the 0.01 ETH, which won't hurt them, even if while they're learning, they can learn with real money, which helps deal with the mind game over time. I tell you, go from 5 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 80, 80 to 160, 160 to 300. No, whatever it is. Brain stopped. And you do that through trading, high leverage trading, but you start with $5. You build confidence by default. You watching me and theorizing and playing with the spreadsheets and getting a great plan together is going to do squat until you get in the markets and let the market teach you. I'm giving you some guardrails and some places to start. And as I learn new stuff, I share what I learn. That's what this is about. Can I maintain a pace of 2 sessions a day? Folks, I was so tired last night when I tuned in, and I shared some pretty cool stuff, which was surprising to me, but I don't think I can do 2 of these a day, an hour, hour and a half a day, 3 hours a day on top of working full time. But I'm gonna get the I'm maybe get down to 5 minutes or boom, quick market view, whatever. If you want more, join Patreon, and then I'll have the training in there is probably where it's gonna look like. But then again, I like to talk. I don't know. It's up to the audience to figure that out. Um, we're coming into a bull market, right? So what does that mean to me? That means I'm planning on retiring in 14 months, you know, around age 60, right? And not because of anything else other than the strategies I'm teaching here, because I've proven I can do it. And I see the light at the end of the tunnel for me and Diana. And she trades separately from me. Okay. She's a consummate trader all by herself. And so that's my plan, right? And I wanna retire to a world worth living in, right? And right now we have some serious stuff to be afraid of, and I'm not gonna maybe I'll do an episode where there's things to be afraid of and why. Where you live is important. The rules you live under is important. My biggest concern is my government is gonna crack down on my ability to get into exchanges where I have access to leverage as a non-qualified investor. So this next bull run, I might just take some vacation time and just trade nonstop and jump through those missions to get it done and get my financial resources out of my country and diversified around the world, including gold, because you can get crypto gold and stuff like that. I know how to do that. And then be done without having to worry, oh, David, we're going to kick you out, or some weird ideology gets control of my government. Says, well, geez, David, you don't believe the way we do, so we're kicking you out. You can either die, well, we'll kill you here, put you in internment camp, or we'll give you a one-way ticket, or just go run for either border. We don't care. And that kind of they almost got control. It's kind of crazy. Well, it's a little severe. Have you read their stuff? You should see what they're afraid of. So yeah, there's legitimate things to be concerned about. And in order to do that, I could leave this country with just what I'm wearing. I'd want to wear pants and stuff. I'm in my skivvies right now. You can't see it. Typical COVID stuff. But they could take everything away from me. I cross the border. I can unlock my world financially without anyone's permission. And that's financial sovereignty. And we have it now because of technology. But we're so busy trying to just survive. We have to come up. I know, babe. I know. We have to. She's reminding me I've got to go to work. Uh, we have to figure out a way to get through it, survive it, and then hopefully thrive. Why is there going to be a bull run? Because everyone is starting to realize that they've been talking about this for the last 2 years. We're going to have a financial meltdown with our currency. And maybe it will, maybe it won't. But that fear, big money, is looking for places to move. They're going to move into gold, silver, and Bitcoin, and probably some diversified assets. So anyway, that's what they're going to do. And you can either take advantage of that and participate in it. You can learn about it. Usually by the time you read about it in the main news, it happened 1 to 2 days ago. I know because I see it happening in the charts and then I don't hear about it till 1 or 2 days later in the news. It's kind of weird. I don't spend a lot of time in the news, but I see it show up in the charts immediately while it's happening. And if you hang out, and I'll show you how to exploit those movements. It's pretty easy. It's like reaching out on the table and grabbing some money. All right, everyone have a great night. We'll talk to you maybe tonight. David out.